Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger sits on the Foreign Affairs Committee. He's also an Air Force veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's currently a lieutenant colonel in the Air National Guard. Congressman, thanks for being with us. The Biden administration, as we just mentioned, is expected to lay out more military aid, a new military aid package for Ukraine focused on the anti-tank, anti-aircraft missile systems that we've been seeing that they have been sending to great effect. I assume you support that. You've talked about a no-fly zone in the past. Where are you at on this in terms of what the scope of U.S. aid has been?
Well, so look, it's been good. Obviously, we're seeing the devastating effects to the Russian military from it. Ukraine is significantly outnumbered. Russia has made it clear, Vladimir Putin has made it clear that he will not lose, which is why we're worried about an escalation into weapons of mass destruction. So, I do commend the administration for all they've done so far. What I worry about, Anderson, is as Russia begins to escalate, God forbid, and I hope I'm wrong, there may be a moment where we realize we do have to close the skies. And let's keep in mind, Vladimir Putin has no right to contest the skies over Ukraine in the first place. And Ukraine has a right to defend their skies, even if that involves partner. But I'd also like to see, better missile defense or better anti-air missiles that go higher range, anti-shipping missiles, as we're seeing the potential for an amphibious landing, for instance, off the coast of Odessa. So there's a lot more to do, but I do commend what we've done so far.
One of the things that President Zelensky has repeatedly said is that the shelling of buildings, some of which may come from aircraft firing rockets, firing missiles, but a lot of that also comes from tanks or artillery on the ground, or even at great distances, even potentially from Belarus or from Russian soil. If there was an attempt to shut down the skies, in President Zelensky's words, wouldn't that actually entail having to try to take out all of those, missiles being fired from artillery, from long-range artillery?
Well, it could certainly include, for instance, it depends what kind of a no-fly zone. Is it a humanitarian corridor? Is it Western Ukraine or all of Ukraine? Obviously, you have to watch when artillery is fired, because of the altitude, you don't want to fly over it. I don't think that would be a huge problem with shutting down the skies. But I think the reality is we're kind of allowing right now Vladimir Putin to set the battle tempo. We're allowing him to threaten escalation, and we're more eager to say what we won't do. And that's what my fear is that we're actually doing a better job of deterring ourselves and NATO than we are Russia. Again, I don't want to say this as a point to say we're not doing anything. Significantly, we are, and Ukrainians with their fighting spirit have shown that. But, man, I do worry what happens when this goes into chemical weapons. And I think the president should make it very clear that weapons of mass destruction are a very, very bright red line that NATO will enforce.
Do you think it likely? I mean, obviously, we've seen in Syria the use of chemical weapons. We've obviously in Russia used them one-on-one against individuals that have spoken out against Vladimir Putin or in some way angered him, both in Russia and in Europe. Do you think a very real possibility chemical weapons could be used here?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a very real possibility. I think Vladimir Putin's made it clear he doesn't want to lose. He can't lose. And his military's trying their best to lose it for him, and given the logistics and everything. And I think, Anderson, that brings up another point. And another area the administration should certainly be looking is there are Russian proxy wars everywhere around the world. Look into Syria. There are Russians in Syria, Libya, you name it. Maybe it's time for us to start, if we're not going to engage Russia directly in Ukraine, and I understand that decision, maybe we ought to look at supporting some of our allies fighting Russians in other areas as well.
Congressman Adam Kinzinger, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
You bet.